are we in right now? Isaiah?
December.
That's right. And yesterday was December the 13th. So if yesterday was the 13th, what number should we add to our calendar for today? Harley?
14th.
That's right. Today is December the 14th. And can anyone remind us what day of the week is it today? Carter?
Monday.
That's right. Today is Monday. And if today is Monday, what was yesterday? Zoe?
Yesterday was Sunday, and I have on a green scrunchie.
I see your green scrunchie. That's right, Zoe. Yesterday was Sunday. And if today is Monday, what will tomorrow be? What will tomorrow be? Sarah?
Tuesday.
That's right. Tomorrow will be Tuesday. All right, so we are still in the season of fall, but it is almost winter. And did you guys know that we might see some winter weather later this week? Maybe we'll get to see some snow. Would you guys like that? Yeah, me too. I hope we get to see some snow. All right, so has anyone looked outside to check the weather this morning? Mila?
It's raining and it's cold.
Rainy and cold. I agree, Mila. It is not a fun day to be outside, is it? No. All right. Awesome job this morning with our calendar, everyone. Thank you for working together so nicely. So we are going to get started with Letterland. This week, we're going to be talking about sounds that come at the end of the word. Okay, so instead of sounds that come at the beginning, we're going to talk about sounds that come at the end. And the first sound we're going to talk about is when we see Noisy Nick and Dippy Duck together in a word. Does anyone want to take a try at what this sound might be? Zoe?
And.
Very good, Zoe. This sound makes the sound and. So it's kind of like our blends that we've been talking about because we still hear both the N sound and the D sound. They're just smushed together. And we hear this sound sometimes at the end of words. So I have a song for us this morning, and I want you to be listening closely for words that end in the "nd" sound, okay? So remember, keep your microphone muted while we're listening to our song, but keep those listening ears on so you'll be able to help us when we finish.
Und, unk,
N says D says d. Together they say You hear the sound in these words. Hand, pond, wind. Hand, pond, wind. N says K says
All right, did you hear any words that had the "nd" sound? Isaiah?
Pond.
I'm made to help you with that.
Pond. Good. What's another one? Colin? Hand. Good. And I think there was one more. Gavin?
Wind.
Wind. Good job. All right, let's listen to our song one more time before we move on.
N says D says D. Together they say You hear the sound in these words. Hand, pond, wind. Hand, pond, wind.
All right, so let's add some of those words to our chart. And if you can think of any other words that have the "nd" sound at the end, we can add those too. Zoe?
One of these are our recite words. And.
And nice work, Zoe. Colin?
Sound.
Sand. Nice job. Any others, Nima?
Do I say sound? Land.
Land. All right, we've got room for one more. Carter?
Can.
All right, let's look at the word can. It's close, but what letter is it missing on the end?
D.
Yep, so that one wouldn't work. Aubrey, did you have one?
Ink.
All right, look at the word ink. Does it have our ending sound in D? No, it's got NK. We need ND. Gavin, did you have one? It could be one from the song if you would like.
I'm gonna think. Wait. One minute.
Okay, keep thinking. Isaiah?
Pond.
Pond. Nice job. All right, guys. Awesome job looking for those ending sounds. So today, we are going to work in our phonics book. Now, our phonics book looks a little different this week, okay? It has a story on the front and then our questions on the back. So go ahead and pull out your phonics book and a pencil. Pull out your phonics book and a pencil.
Miss Foster.
Yes.
Is it a different one? Like the
December 14th through 16th, 15th.
is it this one?
Nope, it's just one piece of paper this week. It says the new nest at the top. Find the paper that says the new nest. All right, Isaiah, did you have a question?
The Grinch is funny.
All right, well, we're going to talk about him when we get done with Letterland, okay? Carter?
I can't find it.
Okay, well, you'll just have to follow along with us. Aubrey?
I need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, dear, go very quickly. Zoe?
I have to find a pencil sharpener.
Okay, try to be quick. All right, thumbs up if you're ready with your phonics story and your pencil. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. So today, I want you to be looking for words that have our ending sound, "nd." And what two letters make that ending sound, "nd"? Mila?
Miss Foster,
Yes?
is this the paper?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
All right, someone remind us, what two letters make the "nd" sound? Gavin?
Wind, pond.
Listen to the question, Gavin. What two letters do we use to make that sound?
Indy.
N-D, that's right. All right, so you follow along, and if you hear a word that has our "nd" sound, I want you to raise your hand so we can stop and highlight our word, okay? All right, here we go. The title of our story this week is The New Nest. The bird lands on a tree. Colin, did you hear a word we should highlight?
Where?
Lands. Very good, Colin. All right. It hops about a bit and picks a spot. It will build a nest. It lands on the grass. Isaiah, did you hear a word we should underline?
Nest.
All right, let's look at the word nest. Does it have our N-D sound? No, not. It does have an N, but it doesn't have a D. I think there was a word in our last sentence we read. It lands on the grass. Did you hear one, Mila?
Land again.
Lands. Good job. All right, let's keep reading and looking for words. It takes some grass back to the tree. It lands in the dust. Oh my, I heard another one. Did you hear it, Carter?
I'm trying to catch up.
All right, Carter, you keep working. Gavin, did you hear it?
Lands.
Lands. Good.
3 lands, though.
We do. We've got 3 lands. All right, let's keep reading. It takes some bent sticks to the tree. It builds its nest in the tree. At last, it has a rest in its brand new nest. Mila, did you hear one more?
Yes.
Brand. That's right. Brand new nest. So can someone tell us, what is something that the bird used to build its nest? Zoe?
Bit Sticks.
It used some sticks. Anything else that the bird used to build its nest? Carmelo?
You gotta find a tree that got a spot.
It did. It built its nest in the tree. Carmela, we were looking for things that the bird used to build its nest.
Oh, he used rock. They can use rocks and sticks.
He used sticks. There was one more thing. Gavin, did you catch the other thing the bird used?
Grass.
That's what the bird also used grass to build his nest. All right, guys, I want to remind you of
Miss Foster.
yes.
Colin found another word.
Okay, Colin, what did you find?
It's in the second sentence. And right there.
Colin, you're right. We missed that one. The word and up in the second sentence has our "nd" sound. Thank you, Colin. All right, guys. So now that we have found all of our "nd" words, I want you to make sure that you put your story in a safe place so that you can find it tomorrow when it's time to work in our phonics book, okay? So you can put that to the side and you don't need anything else in your hand. All right, thumbs up when you are ready. We'll wait just a few more seconds. Thank you to those of you who put your things away so quickly. All right, it looks like everyone is sitting and ready to go. So you know today is Grinch Day. So of course we are going to read the story, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And I bet some of you have seen the movie, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Zoe said she had seen the movie. Who else has seen the movie? Oh, wow. Everybody has. All right. Well, I've seen that movie too. It's one of my favorites. So today we are going to be reading the story, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And while we're reading, I want you to be thinking of words that we can use to describe Mr. Grinch. Okay? And then when we get done reading and describing Mr. Grinch, we are going to do a drawing activity together. All right? So let me get our story pulled up. Now remember, when we're listening to stories, keep your microphone muted unless I call on you so that everyone can hear, okay? Isaiah, did you have a question before we start reading?
I've seen the Grinch's movie before.
Yeah, a lot of us have. Mila, did you have a question?
I remember reading that when I was in kindergarten.
Did you? Oh, well, we're going to read it again. All right, remember, we're only asking a question. If you just want to tell something, you're going to have to wait until we're finished. Gavin, did you have a question?
Who is Dr. Seuss?
Dr. Seuss is the author of the story. So what does that mean if someone is the author, Robert?
My teacher from pre-K showed me a picture of him.
Of Dr. Seuss?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, can you help us out? What does it mean that Dr. Seuss is the author of the story? What did he do for this story?
He made all the books that have his name on it.
Yes, he wrote the book. He wrote the book. So Dr. Seuss wrote the story, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. All right, guys, we are going to get started. So hands down, make sure your listening ears are turned on and your eyes are looking. And we are thinking of ways that we can describe Mr. Grinch. So here we go.
Grinch Stole Christmas. Written and illustrated by Dr. Seuss and read by Auntie Lee. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled, with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew.
So we have met the Grinch in the beginning of our story, and we learned, how does the Grinch feel about Christmas? Zoe?
Mad, and I know I can describe the Grinch for a little bit.
Okay, how would you describe the Grinch in the beginning of the story?
Mean.
Mean would be a good word to describe him. So you're right, Zoe. We learned he does not like Christmas time. It makes him so upset. Gavin, do you have any other words we could use to describe Mr. Grinch?
He is not a fan of Christmas.
Not a fan of Christmas. Good one. Mila?
He does not like Christmas.
All right. Anything else other than that he doesn't like Christmas? Carmela?
He can stole some presents and
Oh, we haven't got there yet, Carmela. Save that one until we get to that part, okay? Robert?
He is a grump and he does not decorate for Christmas.
He is grumpy. Good one. Do you think Mr. Grinch is very friendly? Probably not. All right, well, let's keep reading and thinking of other words we can use to describe Mr. Grinch.
All the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys, and then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise, 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 noise. That's the one thing he hated. The noise, 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 noise. Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, 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 feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Whos would start singing. They'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?
So, what is the Grinch going to try to do? He doesn't like Christmas. So, what is he going to try to do, Carter?
No,
He's
get
gonna dress like Santa.
Now, we don't know that yet. We hadn't got to that part yet. But what is he going to try to do, Isaiah?
Steal their Christmas.
He is going to try to steal their Christmas. Oh my goodness. Let's keep reading to see if Mr. Grinch can do.
Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, then he took some red thread and tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, get up, and the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Whos lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without care when he came to the first little house on the square. This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claw hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist.
So we talked about words to describe the Grinch. Can you describe what the setting of the story is? Colin?
Whoville.
Whoville, yes. And when do you think the story might have taken place? Zoe?
Christmas.
Christmas time. That's right. What are some clues that tell us it's Christmas time? Carmelo?
It's snowing. And then everybody getting ready for Santa getting them some presents, and they will be happy, but the Grinch.
Okay, so we see presents. Anything else in the illustrations, Isaiah?
You see stockings.
Stockings are hanging and even a Christmas tree. Jaden, I'm not sure what you have that you're playing with, but you need to put that down because we're still learning this morning. Jaden, thank you. All right, let's keep reading.
Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first thing to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimbley. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree, and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast, and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who'd got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?"
All right, we are going to stop there for the day, and we are going to work on describing Mr. Grinch. So before we finish describing Mr. Grinch, I want to tell you a new word that we use when we describe things, and that word is adjective. Can you say that word? Adjective. When we use adjectives, that means that we're using describing words, and we know how to use describing words, don't we? So sometimes you might hear describing words called adjectives. So today we're going to use adjectives or describing words to describe Mr. Grinch. So I need your help to fill in our chart with words that describe Mr. Grinch in the beginning of our story that we read today. Isaiah?
He stinks.
Okay, the Grinch is stinky. Good one. Robert?
He's a grump and he's a meanie.
Okay, he is a grumpy. Oh, I forgot my P. Grumpy. There we go. Anyone else have a describing word for Mr. Grinch? Harley?
He wants to take down Christmas.
Okay. Sarah?
He's evil.
The Grinch is evil. So, because Harley, you had a good reason he's evil. He's trying to take their Christmas away. Carter?
He doesn't like Christmas and he wants to get rid of Christmas.
Okay. He does not like Christmas. Colin?
He's playing with yellow eyes, but in the movie, he was green.
So that's a great observation, Colin. The Grinch is green. So that describes how the Grinch looks. All right, one more before we get started with our activity. Did someone else want to share one more adjective about the Grinch to describe the Grinch? Gavin?
The Grinch will take away your toys.
Okay, so if he likes to take away people's toys, what is one word to describe him?
Mean.
Mean. He is mean. Good one. All right, guys. So I told you this morning when we finished our story, we were going to do a drawing activity. And guess who we're going to draw today? Colin, who are we going to draw today?
The Grinch.
Mr. Grinch. That is right. So in your packet somewhere, you should have a plain piece of white paper. Go ahead and pull out that plain piece of white paper and a pencil. All you need is your plain piece of paper and a pencil. Gavin, did you have a question?
The Grinch looks more creepier on the picture right there.
Yeah. All right. Hang on 1 second. Let me get it set up where you guys can see my paper. All right. Thumbs up if you're ready. With your paper and
Excuse me, Miss Foster. Is this the right paper?
Miss Foster, is this the right paper?
it's a plain piece of white paper.
Plain piece of right here. Right there. All right, draw your Grinch.
All right.
There you go.
Started. So we're going to begin by drawing part of the Grinch's face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it first. And then you copy what I do, okay? So I'm going to start by drawing his face. I'm going to start with a little line. And then a bump. And go down like that. And then we're going to go back up and do the same thing on the other side to make the other side of his face. Now, if it's not perfect, it's okay. No worries. It doesn't have to be perfect.
It's really small.
You can do it as big or small as you would like. All right. The next step, we are going to add the fluffy part of his Santa hat. Just make sure your microphone's muted so everyone can hear.
I'm gonna draw the Santa hat.
You are.
All right, here we go. Let's draw the fluffy part of his Santa hat. So you're just going to draw the fluffy white part of his Santa hat right on top of his head. Just like that. Your phone's muted.
We can't see your paper very good.
Good drawing.
All right, thumbs up if you have his head and his fluffy part of his hat. Good job, Harley. All right, we're going to move on to the next step. Next, we have to draw the top of Mr. Grinch's hat, the top of his Santa hat. So, let me scoop my paper down so that you can see. All right, so right on top of the fluffy part is the top of his Santa hat. It's kind of in the shape of a triangle. So you're going to draw up. And then on the end of his Santa hat, you can put the little fluffy white cotton ball. Just like that.
Miss Foster.
Yes?
I don't like his eyes. They're creepy.
Yeah, his eyes do look a little scary, don't they? All right.
I
thumbs up,
don't
you
have
ready?
paper.
Hey, Robert, can you find just another plain paper, maybe? I still see some pencils moving, so we'll wait just a second. All right, next we're going to draw the Grinch's face, and we're going to start with his nose. His nose is kind of funny looking. So you're going to go to the middle with half of a little circle, and then you do a bump on this side and a bump on that side to do his nose. Just like that. Now, above his nose, good job, Harley. Above his nose, we have to draw his eyes. So if you want to do his eyes, like Isaiah said, when they look a little scary, you can do that, or you can just do like this. You can do 2 circles, 1, 2, and then you have to put his eyebrows on him. And they're kind of pointy at one end and then straight on the other.
Is this good, Miss Foster?
Yeah.
So happy. Miss Foster.
Following along.
Miss Foster.
Yes.
Can I color him in with glitter?
Hang on, we're not done quite yet. We're not quite to the point of coloring. All right, now after you get your nose and your eyes, we have to add his Grinchy grin. And he has a big Grinchy grin. So I'm going to start on one side and go all the way to the other to put his big Grinchy grin. All right, so when you get his grin, you should have your Grinchy face on your paper with this Santa hat on. Awesome! You guys did a great job. All right, so Isaiah wanted to know if we could color Mr. Grinch. That is just fine. And when we log back on at 11:30, I can't wait to see your Grinches all colored in. You can use crayons, marker, glitter, whatever you have at home that you would like to use to color your Grinch is just fine, okay? And I will see you either in your small group or when we log back on at 11:30.
Bye, Miss Foster. Bye, Miss Foster. Bye, Miss Foster. I see you at all the meetings. Bye, Miss Foster. I couldn't find another like